I'd like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which I'm coming to you. The land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, it's upon their ancestral lands from which OneSpaceLove streams to you.
Welcome to Living Story on the OneSpaceLove podcast. I'm your host, Stephania Papadopoulos. On this podcast, I sit down with inspiring guests who share their wisdom and their lived experience with the work that they're doing to help others let go of old stories, embrace who they truly are, and begin living a story where they feel aligned with purpose, with possibility. My hope is that each conversation reminds us to trust in your own unfolding, because your story is still being written. And welcome to Living Story.
I call it them sacred witnesses because this is ceremonial ritual. We are clearing an ancestral pattern that has burdened this line for centuries, and witnessing the clearing, the way that it just organically works with no pushing and no trying, but is relieving everyone in the system of this pattern. This is a sacred process. That's how I see it. So I call them sacred witnesses. You witness first, and then the next time you come, you get a chance to feel what it's like to resonate.
Right. Okay.
And that is always free. So you can come and resonate whenever you are called. You just by joining the group. It's just a message to me, which you can get on my website or my socials. Yeah.
So welcome, Isy Gabriel, to Living Story on OneSpaceLove. It's so beautiful to have you and have this little time together to go deep. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
Yeah. I always start off by asking you, could you introduce yourself to the guests by answering the statement, I am?
I am a mother, a daughter, a sister. I am, I'll say, a witch and a shaman, a modern day. Yeah, it's taken me a while to embrace that.
Yeah.
That feeling. I'm a change maker. And I'm here to make a difference. Yeah.
I love that. And I feel that. I really do. You said in there that it's taken you a while to embrace actually being able to say, I am a shaman, and the work that you're doing and stepping into that. Can you take me back to Isy on your journey? Was there a point when you started to get whispers of what it is you're here to do and the gifts that you have?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that this story goes right back to 17.
Yeah.
When I had a very devastating spinal injury from a sporting accident, trampolining, gymnastics. And that was such a game changer for me. It was a life-changing experience. I felt broken on every level. And I say it started there because I don't know if I would have had such a quest for how to resolve the amount of pain that I was in on every level had I not had, that's the classic wounded healer archetype. And I really just kept following. I mean, I'm 64 now, so that's a long time between those 2 points. But in many ways, my backstory has just woven all the way through my life. And although I initially went and did, my first degree was psychology and anthropology, being the study of traditional societies and weaving that in. And I feel like that I'm still in that realm. In a way, I'm still in that realm, even though it then took me to a PhD in Africa and then to Australia, and through being a body worker for 30 years, I was still always passionate about how do we help us? How do we help each other live more joyously, live more easefully, live more clear the pain by really, really clearing it, not band-aiding, but really getting to the layers that can really help us live with more joy. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
I have been the primary motivator in a way of my life. How do I clear the pain that I was in, the balancing what I thought my life was about and then clearly wasn't, with how to do life with more ease. Yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned 17 years old and injuring your back. It sounds like you were a gymnast and there was quite a severe injury. But instead of being stuck in that pain, there was something that allowed you to have that awareness to look deeper into how to move out of that.
I think it was survival, really.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I really didn't want to live after that. But I had a little brother, and so I couldn't take what felt to me like the obvious way to end it all. And I wasn't up for that. I wasn't up for hurting my brother like that or my family. I had a lot of love in my family. And so, I lost my way initially. I lost my way a fair few times.
Okay.
And I would say that suicidal ideation has followed me throughout my life. But I have never considered actually following through with that. And that has been because I have been blessed with a lot of love in my life and also blessing or a curse, who knows. My father committed suicide. And so
Okay.
I know what it is like to be left. I wasn't willing to do that to someone else. And so in many ways, pain was my driver. And the desire, since I chose to stay, to literally try and stay with more ease. Yeah. To be more able to be, I think actually the word that is coming is freedom. Freedom. Inner freedom. And that word has meant a lot to me in my life. Like as a gymnast, I felt freedom.
Yes.
Flying through the air. And so I guess it was search for freedom in a different way. Yeah.
And how old were you when you lost your father?
29.
Okay.
Yeah. So an adult, but I've now lived my life over half of it without him, more close. So yeah, it's definitely an influence in there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to, just to breathe that all in.
Yeah. I mean, I really feel like I have listened and followed to what has been what I've come across in my life. Like,
Yes.
Going, my degree led me to my PhD, led me to, at the end of that, wanting a break from academia, and that's what took me to Australia. And then in Australia, I was still in a lot of pain with my back. And in Australia, I found Bowen Therapy.
Oh, yes.
And it really radically changed my life because it took me from literally pain all the time. I was 24/7 pain for 11 years until I found Bowen. So that was a radical shift. And I changed tack from psychology and academia to, I'm like, I have to learn this thing. This is
Body work. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I became a therapist. And then within a year or two, I was one of the world's top trainers in it because I was just Gosh. Absolutely passionate about spreading the word, helping people that, I mean, my God, it really took me from pain every day, all day, to a livable, workable pain level that I wasn't in constant pain anymore. So, I consider that to be a miracle.
That's a miracle. Yeah.
It's a miracle. But
Yeah.
that was how it was for me. But with that, and I still practice Bowen to this
Okay.
day. It's still a big part of my life. And I still receive it. It's still a big part of my life at that level as well. But I was still after that because it's not just physical pain.
Yes.
There was a lot of other pain levels in my being that I carried very well. Only very close friends would have had any idea the level of inner pain. And so I always had my listening out for new things and tried
Yes.
a fair few psychotherapeutic modalities, all sorts of things from tapping to, all sorts of other healing modalities. And then one day I came across a flyer that said Family Constellations.
Okay.
And like many people do, I thought that was astrology for my family. So I'm like, I'm not really, I don't think that's my thing. And this flyer just kept coming up. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm drawn. I'm going to go. And that was another pivotal, life-changing moment for me.
Were you in Australia when you saw this flyer? Yes.
I was in Australia and living on the far south coast where I still live.
Okay.
It was a local workshop, and it was the first time it had been run in my area. And I went and I had a profound experience. And yes, I had my own constellation, which was profound. But what was more profound for me was what's called representing
Okay.
in someone else's constellation.
Yep.
And how this modality works is you literally, it's like walking in somebody else's moccasins for an hour. You get chosen in classic family constellations, you get chosen to represent somebody in the client's life, and that then plays out in the room. Kind of a little bit like psychodrama, but you're not told what to do. You just feel. It's called phenomenological. It means you're feeling phenomena in your body and you move with that. And for me, it wasn't just psychological. For me, I had a direct shamanic experience. Like and at that stage, this is 21 years ago, I didn't even necessarily know what I meant by shamanic experience.
Yep.
But I had a shamanic experience. I totally shapeshifted into somebody else. And it was a profound experience for me that I never had before. And every single constellation, I was somebody else and then somebody else. And feeling this beingness, being somebody else, knowing other things, feeling different to how I feel in my body, that was just an extraordinary experience for me. And so I was hooked, basically, you can tell from the start. And that really was a pivot point in my life. And I went to a lot of family constellation workshops and trainings and very, different people. I just wanted to know more. I organized them. I just went deep dive, all out. And it took me about 10 years, maybe 8 or 9, before I started facilitating based on one of these trainers that said it's about time you actually
step up, Isy.
stepped up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're like, oh my God, okay, yeah, right. It's time. And very quickly, like over that time, I'd also studied a lot of other things like shamanism. Like it drew me to study that. And to have experiences in that, and also Tantra. I've done a lot of study with that as well. And so, because I felt this modality wasn't just psychological, it was so embodied through the body, and I was all about the body. I like, and it's this incredible, it's this undeniable connection that you feel. Like, it's no longer like there's my mind and my body. It's the weaving, the feeling different, and different as you do different people, and you feel different and you think differently. And and so, yeah, it just expanded my desire to learn all these other ways as well. And so when I started facilitating, very soon the field wanted to change the way I did it. Like, I wanted to bring these aspects out more, feeling more. Tantra is always about feeling and what's really true in this moment, and honoring each moment. And shamanism is kind of like everything is alive. Everything in the field is alive and conspiring. It's like the whole world changes for that particular constellation. And so the way I did it started to change. And also, I was an ex-researcher. So I also decided I didn't like the fact that people knew who they were when they were resonating. It's called representing in classic constellations. So I very quickly started to do it triple blind. So it's done on little pieces of paper, and we put those on the ground. And so then I call them resonators, because they are resonating with the piece of paper, with what's been spoken. Not much is spoken in my fields about the story that is going on. And so they're resonating, and because it's triple, so I call it triple blind because I don't know who anyone is. Like, we know roughly what's in the field, but the pieces of paper, we don't read them. So then what comes through the person who doesn't even know who they are? And, it brings me back to your question as to how did I first get these whispers, right? And I'm like, this is magic. Like, magic is what science hasn't yet proved, right? That's what magic is. Like 300 years ago, they wouldn't have understood about planes in the sky, right? That would have been magic. And I mean, nowadays there is a lot of science about the epigenetic coding and how this happens, how traumas in the past get woven into our epigenetic code. So there is a lot of science around, but it still does not fully explain what happens in the process of these constellations. And really, the results and the experience is a magical experience. And the shifts that you get are nothing short of magic. Like, I consider them to be miracles. I've had many psychotherapists and psychiatrists who do constellation work, and I've often heard people say, one deep constellation would probably take you a year to do in therapy. It's because it doesn't go through the cognitive mind. It really is this fully embodied experience where you actually rewrite. There's a lot of science and research now that it's actually rewriting the neurology. It's becoming a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. I have personally got to experience a traditional family constellation. Two things is coming up for me. First, I want to go to when you're talking and sharing about the Bowen Therapy and then coming into family constellation. Are there any actual mentors that came along that path that you want to share with us that really helped keep you guided in that path?
Yes. I mean, that very first workshop
Yes.
was hosted by a dear friend, just 3 kilometers away from where I lived on this beautiful sacred mountain called Gulaga. And I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm on right now, the Yuan Nation. And he and I both had that profound experience. First workshop was like, wow, this is more than what. And he actually went off, his name's Tan Maya, and he went to do training much earlier than me. I had a little girl as a single mother. I wasn't a time in my life I really wanted to, but that's why I focused more on putting workshops up than, and didn't go do the training as early as he did. But certainly I feel we've been allies for that long and colleagues and dear friends, and his influence on the way he holds the work as well has definitely affected the way, I've affected my beingness in the work, really. He is such a beautiful man with such a depth of stillness. And I think that equally had an effect on my ability to move quietly in the field. There's a lot of constellators, it's quite loud, and there's a lot of intervening, but he was definitely the first person who showed me, let the field move itself.
Okay.
But then I definitely, and my primary mentor in this work was a man called Michael Reddy. And I met him through an online container that he did very, very quickly after I started facilitating. And in the States, he's from the States. And we just became great friends over. I asked him at the end of first class, I said, will you be my mentor? And I think that was because he brought in so much shamanistic elements. He'd been trained by Native American Indians. And so that really wove into his work, and it just suited me. And it also suited remember I said right at the beginning that my first degree was anthropology as well as psychology. And so for me, that has maintained a real strong influence in my life.
Okay.
That traditional societies had community. They had tribe.
Yes.
And in fact, the very basis of family constellations, a man called Bert Hellinger was the originator of the work. And a lot of his influence came from his experience with the Zulus, and how, and certainly absolutely true across the board for me with all my studies with ethnography, is that when someone in their tribe or community had were ill, whether it was mentally ill or physically ill, or they would call the whole tribe and call the shaman, witch doctor would call the ancestors in, and they would be, why is this one hurting? Help us see what in this community have we shadowed, they wouldn't have used that word, but have we cast out that this one is showing us what we need to heal in our tribe. And for me, that is the basis of why I will only do this work in groups. You can, many therapists worldwide in family constellations will do one-on-one work, and that is very valid and is fabulous that it's so accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world. But for me, I have such a strong alignment with living in tribe. With there's a man called Josh Schrei who does the Emerald podcast, and one of his episodes is called "The Revolution Will Not Be Psychologized." And that was like, when I heard that one, I'm like, it's exactly what I mean. We I want to get away from, it's not that I want to get away from one-on-one work with people. It's very valid, very important for people who need that. Yes. But to say, and let's come together as a tribe. And so most of my work is done online, that a client will book, and then I have this whole community of people across the world, mostly in Australia, but worldwide, who then when I say, okay, we have an event, we have an Obsidian happening
Yes.
on this date, this time, who's free? And these people come, they are not paid, neither do they pay. It's a free thing. They show up for themselves because they know what they get from resonating from that experience that I said earlier about how pivotal it is to have that experience. But they also show up for the collective, for this person that they don't even know, and resonate in their constellation time and time again. Like, I feel very blessed. There's like 100 people in there. So you can show up once every 6 months or once a month or whatever time frame you have, or that particular subject matter calls you. So you come to that. And to do this work from that perspective of we do it together. You're not alone in this. We're here to hold the space for you. We're here to feel every aspect of what this means for you and your lineage. And we'll let those ripples go out to everybody in that space and everybody outside of that in the system. So yeah, I'm very passionate about that.
Thank you for that, because I feel like what came through for me in those questions, you answered both of them beautifully. And it's so powerful, the collective. Do you feel we are all connected and that we are all one in some way, like we're all almost mirroring each other and interconnected? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm somebody who believes there's various different levels of truths and story and understanding.
Okay.
And so what is true here isn't always true here, I guess. So for me, like oneness, yeah. Like I'm definitely a oneness person. And we all have separate journeys. Like
Yeah.
there's the separation, and there's you and there's me, and we feel very different. But what I think is true is that we are all able to tap in to a very embodied collective.
Yeah.
More than we think we do. And certainly the experience of resonating, that's what I think it is. And it's not psychic. Like, so being for most people, psychic is a seeing thing. Not always, but let's just use that as the example.
Yeah.
If you're psychic, you can see something. Oh, I can see maybe in this person, I can see something that happened in the past. I can see this. Well, constellation work is not that, actually.
Okay.
It's feeling. It's what is this person that I'm resonating feeling? You may also see something as well, but it's focusing on what is coming through, what you're feeling, what you're noticing, who you notice in the rest of the field. It's called the field when you've got this collection of humans. And that's how it flows. That's how the story is unraveled.
I think because where I wanted to ask about family constellation, because I do understand it, but to help the listeners, give us an example, because you're talking about the resonance and that they're in the field, but some of the things that you would work on would be the mother, or you want to give some examples of what you work on in that space. Yeah.
Actually, and so that's actually a pivotal piece that is different for my work.
Good.
Which I mentioned the word obsidian a bit
Yes.
earlier. So I do call my constellations quantum constellations, and I've called the work obsidian. And the reason for that is because it moved away enough from classic family constellations that I wanted to make sure people knew what they were getting. You know, they're
Yes.
not getting this, they're getting
Yep.
this over here. And so whereas in classic family, you would normally come with most usually you come with something to do with your family or to do
Yes.
with something closer to you, and you choose someone to be your mother or your father or your grandfather, and it's played out and you know who's who. And so whereas mine with this blind work, where the listening has taken me, because
Yes.
it's really not, I haven't decided to do it a particular way. It's just been listening to what has been wanting to come out in the field. And so the way Obsidian is I focus on, you might come with an issue with your mother, but I really want to know what it is that you're feeling and what is the pattern that is repeating. Because if it didn't start with you, it didn't start with your mother or her mother or her mother. It started way back. If this pattern is still showing up now, something happened very big way back that has been written in the epigenetic coding. Like the Holocaust is a really good example of that. They've shown how they've shown it's come down. But even further back, go even further back. And so I focus on the pattern.
Yes.
And you can bring anything. You can bring an issue with money, like you keep being penniless, or you've reached a ceiling limit, or something to do with your business. You keep losing businesses, or
Right.
something happens, or a relationship that you keep having the same type, but you keep attracting the same kind of guy or woman. Something that is happening in the family that you can see is a repeating thing, which literally can be as dramatic as the men die young in our family, for instance, which was what one of the ones in my history. Literally anything that is big, that is affecting you in your life, can be brought to this work. And we go, if it's this big, it was that big back there.
Yep.
And so I'm looking for, the reason why I call it quantum is because I'm literally looking for the quantum entanglement. And what that means is that the resonance that is happening here in present day has a corresponding resonance somewhere in time and space. And in the field, what arises is the seeking for this. Where is this matching piece? Somewhere. And it's very hard to describe what we do in this work, but it's like a little beacon calling. We're calling. I write out a very distinct linguistic piece of writing.
Okay.
I use the word linguistics. There was another one of my studies at uni was linguistics and the power of words. And, we very flippantly use the word spelling when we're misspelling something, which means you got the wrong idea of what that was, right? Or you spell something correctly. But actually, the true sense of the word spell means words have power.
Absolutely.
So when you are writing out what is happening for this person here, and it's almost like it's like kind of casting, it's not really casting a spell, but it's like, what spell has been put on this person? Because it feels like a spell, because this thing keeps happening again and again. So we're looking for this. The words have power. They will have resonance here. When we find that in the process, it arises, as I say, magically. I don't really know how this stuff works. It just works. But when those two pieces meet in the same time and space, they just dissolve in each other's presence. And the energy and the power that has been used to constantly keep that going is now available life force. For what?
Oh my
For
gosh.
what that person now wants to bring in instead of this. This has just been neutralized, and this wave of energy goes through the field. And so we have an opposite spell I call the enchantment. The entanglement, this is the entanglement, and the enchantment is the opposite of that. What do you want instead of this?
To bring in, right?
The solution-focused work, right? What do you want instead of this? Instead of attracting these awful men in my life that keep repeating, I keep repeating the same thing again and again, or what I really want is a fulfilling, loving partnership, for instance. Or I keep losing money and I'm constantly in debt. Okay, what do you want? I want to feel secure and financially viable in my life, like that I can trust and be with. So these spells, which are just words with power, are how that carries this process. Yeah. Yeah.
I love
I
that
don't
I
know if
asked
that
that
answered your
question. No, I love it because I think that it really helps those that are tuning in that may have had experience with family constellation really understand the potency of what it is you're offering. So I'm really glad I was guided to ask you that. Could you share before we finish our chat today, could you share with me perhaps someone that has come along to the Obsidian and has experienced something that they've come back and shared with you how it's been a miracle or been a magical shift in their life? Yeah.
Yes. There are so many, but the one that pops to mind is I had someone come who had already had an Obsidian
Okay.
for a childhood thing that had happened for them and wanting to resolve that. That absolutely resolved. And then I was doing a check-in with them a few months later, and I think it was just on a hunch to check in with them. And they said, "Is you not going to be able to help with this one? I have been loaded with $250,000 debt from embezzlement." And the heaviness on that call, I'm like, oh my God. And it touched me on a personal level because I do feel that it was one of the reasons my father committed suicide he'd been embezzled. So I'm like, I said, we need a miracle, right? Like how, I don't know how any other way. And I saw this man who had so much promise and so much life force, absolutely like drained. And all I could personally see was the one choice option out of that. And I'm like, not on my watch. So we did an Obsidian.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the exact timing, but it was a matter of weeks or certainly not many months away when he's messaged me and he said, there's been a shift. They're actually coming to the table. They're talking about it. They're taking some responsibility for some of the pieces. It's moving, and I could feel the relief. So it wasn't gone yet, but there was a relief there. And then again, a couple of months later, he's like, you will not believe it, but I have had people come in because his enchantment was something like to only work with people who will support me, who I can trust. And I can't remember his exact words, but obviously the enchantment was the polar opposite of what the entanglement had
Got it.
been. And he's like, people have come, I've got 3 people coming out the woodwork who want to sponsor me, who want to wipe off the debt, because what I want to do is just that they get it. And he's like, I'm dead. It's gone. It's gone. I'm like, even I was struggling
you're
to
like,
believe that,
my
right?
work
I'm like,
works.
whoa, oh my God, that is extraordinary.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just got like you're saving lives, literally,
Yeah.
and giving people, like you started the chat by saying that you wanted people to feel more freedom.
Yeah.
And not only are you saving lives, but you're allowing them to have the space, to have the freedom to truly embrace what it feels like to be living an embodied life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Beautifully put.
Yeah. Blessed. And it really does show that all of the hard, uncomfortable parts that you've journeyed you through have given you almost the initiation to hold this space that you are.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way that I would be doing what I'm doing without the
Yeah.
darkness that I had lived through, come through. And yeah, and of course, even with all the darkness and all about that, the blessings of what got put in front of me and what I
Yes.
then chose to move towards,
Yes.
is there's that too. I do equally feel blessed in many ways. Yeah.
Mm.
Here is that the power of this work, certainly in me, and I
Yes.
believe it's also true for most others, that resonating in other people's is where the gift is in this work. Yes, you have these profound examples of massive shifts with somebody. Yes, of course. But the alignment with what you choose to resonate and what you came with that day is like, it's a match every time.
So do you feel like, I mean, I'm very blessed. I'm going to have an experience with you to experience what it is like to resonate. So let's jump on again and check in after another point after. But what I wanted to ask is, do you find that somehow, I guess it goes back to my last question, when you're called to be in that room, whether you feel the pull, you listen to your body and you feel pulled, no, I've got to be at this one. Do you feel there's always something there that is also within yourself as a resonant that you are shifting? Is that what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. 100%. That is this and you just can't make it up. Like,
Yes.
who chooses what resonator goal to do
Yes.
every
Yes.
time? Every time it's like, oh my God, that is exactly the piece that I needed for me today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how can people join to Obsidian and become part of this community that you've got? Is there a website? Are you on socials? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on socials under Isy Gabriel on all of them. And I do have a website, Gabriel.com. So again, easy to find. And you can just contact me. And this resonator group we're called the Orbs, the
Okay.
Obsidian Resonators Biosphere, because it's like this whole sphere of beautiful humans. And it's free to join up. It's a WhatsApp community thread. It doesn't ping much, and you just, then there's an event that comes and the first time you are a witness so that you can understand and see beautifully. I call them sacred witnesses because this is ceremonial ritual. We are clearing an ancestral pattern that has burdened this line for centuries, and witnessing the clearing, just the way that it just organically works with no pushing and no trying, but is relieving. everyone in this system of this pattern, this is a sacred process. That's how I see it. So I
Absolutely.
call
Yeah.
them sacred witnesses. You witness first, and then the next time you come, you get a chance to feel what it's like to resonate.
Right.
And
Okay.
that is always free. Like, so you can come and resonate whenever you are called. You just by joining the group. It's just a message to me, which you can get on my website or my socials. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Isy Gabriel, for what you're doing and what you're sharing with everyone on a broader level. Thank you for all that you are. And I look forward to speaking to you many, many more times on Living Story. Thank you for joining me today on Living Story on One Space Love.
And thank you for having me.
Mm.